Welcome to the For Real Though Show, the podcast with a purpose for the people. I am your host, Christopher Keith. Thank you for joining us. We're brought to you by Queso What? And told y'all that the food truck is just about ready. So as soon as it is, I will let you know where y'all can get them quesos at. Today, we have a very special show. Very good friend of mine. I'm going to tell you how we met. Man, I don't know how many years it was ago, but he was still in high school. So I was umpiring some baseball. And I remember they said, "You're gonna work with this guy, this young guy, whatever." And I was like, okay, okay. And I think if I recall, I was getting my uniform together and I was talking on the phone and stuff. And I kind of saw him out the corner of my eye, and I was trying not to be rude and try to hurry up and stuff, and get my equipment on and all of that. And so finally, when I got off the phone and get ready to, start introduce myself and walk toward the field, he walks straight up to me, sticks his hands out, and says, "Hi, I'm Jace Middleton." And with the way he did it, he was like almost like a job interview, you know what I mean? But what it showed me was right away this guy was raised correctly. He was raised right. Back straight, look straight in the eye, and I could just tell. I could tell from those first words. You know how like that old Jerry Maguire when the lady says, "You had me at hello." Well, when he said, "Hi, I'm Jace Middleton," that literally told me everything I needed to know about him. Uh, so he was playing football. We got to know each other. We clicked, hit it off right away. Found out he was playing football. I think I did one of your games. I think I
Mhm.
was one of your games. But his real love was baseball. So I went to see him pitch like maybe three times. Once it was like 38 degrees
Yeah.
outside. I met his grandparents who were like the sweetest people. I don't think they ever missed a game that he
Oh,
pitched in. We got to break bread together, went to the Cheesecake Factory, kicked it. And just stayed in touch, shared our love for country music.
hmm.
He's sending me stuff, I'm sending him stuff. And so, he's educating me a lot more because I wasn't into country as much. So he got me turned on to more country. And then, so then he start to go to OSU after that. I always tried to get him to umpire with me a bazillion times, but he was always busy. Then he's getting into his pitching thing. So, first year he started pitching. He had some injuries.
Hmm.
If I recall, left the team and was maybe doing some club baseball or something like that, kind of far away. Next thing you know, I didn't hear from him, and I look up. My man is on the OSU football team. Like, yo, James, I hit him up, my guy. You're on the football team. He's like, yeah, man. And then, you see his face now. You see his face now. He's got the beard. See, before,
Hmm.
his little kid, no hair on his face, look fresh, kind of got the Jake Gyllenhaal look, you know what I mean? When he back in the day. He's on the football team, he's a grown ass man now. And what do you know? My man is a national champion with the Bucks.
Oh
Go
yeah.
Bucks. What? So Chase, was my memory correct? Did I get
That
it
is
all right?
absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Well, thank you for joining us, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for
So
having me.
so yeah, so I know baseball was your first love, man. Why did you stop pitching before we get into the football stuff?
So when I got to Ohio State my freshman year, it was battling a little bit through injury that I had in high school. And then when we started fall ball, it was right before Scarlet and Gray, right before fall ball hit it off. I was pitching live on the field and my arm popped. And I just hurt my arm even more, and I went to see the team doc and they put me on some medication to help me heal up. Took a couple weeks off, started throwing, felt good. And before you know it, in the winter, same thing happened. So we went through the same process, did the same thing. And then springtime comes and, the same thing happened. Arm popped, on the medication, taking time off, rehabbing, never got an MRI, never got an X-ray. Doctors never had me do any of that. So because I didn't play my freshman year, they shipped me off to play summer baseball for the Chillicothe Paints, and they wanted me to just pitch. They wanted me to get out there. They wanted me to play, and I played for half the summer. And at Springfield, Ohio, when we were playing the Champion City Kings over at Wittenberg College, I
Hmm.
threw a ball probably 60 feet off the backstop, arm popped, hurt the worst that it hurt.
Mm.
And, we kind of took it upon ourselves as a family to just go get this thing checked out because it's been lingering, it's been hurting, and my velo's been down. So we're like, something's not right. And around that time was when Beals got fired. And the coach from TCU, Mazziello, came in and took over. Now, if you were injured or you didn't produce the year before, you were out. And for me, being hurt, he pretty much just told me, like, there's no room for you here. You're going to have to hit the portal. And, I hit the portal, was talking to some coaches, still didn't know what was going on. And before you know it, I found out I needed Tommy John surgery. And not only did I need Tommy John surgery, I had a stress fracture on the back of my elbow for a very long time. And I actually needed a 5.5 inch electron screw in the back of my elbow. So, my arm was messed up beyond what we even thought at the start. But when I hit the portal, no coach wanted me for baseball because they wanted immediate impact players. And my rehab for baseball would have been a little over a year and 3 months. So I was fortunate enough to play with a kid named Toby Wilson. And his dad was Coach Kevin Wilson, coach for Indiana, was the offensive coordinator, tight ends coach for Ohio State. He uh, he contacted me my senior year of high school and was like, dude, I know you got this baseball thing going, but we'd love to have you playing football. And I asked him if it was possible to play both. He said it's not. So because it was so close to signing day, I just stuck with the baseball. So when he found out I was in the portal, not playing baseball anymore, he gave me a call. Well, I gave him a call because recruiting, there's a lot of rules with the NCAA and stuff. I called him and he asked me, "Hey, do you finally want to come join our side?" And I was like, absolutely. I actually just got surgery, so it's going to take some time. So I rehabbed, and through the whole rehab, we transitioned from rehabbing for baseball to rehabbing to football. And I went through the whole process with football. I talked with Coach Wilson, I talked with Coach Day. They had me come to the walk-on tryouts in February, where I they put us through a series of workouts. There was probably 30, 40 kids there, and there was only two of us that actually was able to walk on and make the team. So that was my sophomore year. And then I was able to walk on officially after the spring semester in May in the year 2022, 2023,
Okay.
2023. Yep, 2023. So that was the start of my junior year.
Wow. So what position were you playing?
I was tight end. I was
Wow.
in a room with Cade Stover and G. Scott, Jelani Thurman, Patrick Gerd, all those guys. And you know what, man? I'll tell you what, joining that team, it was the best thing that has ever happened to me. And it wasn't because I'm a national champion. It wasn't because of the accolades or, being able to call myself an Ohio State football player. It's because of the people I met, like G. Scott, like Travion Henderson, like Emeka Egbuka. My freshman year, I kind of fell away from the Lord, and I kind of lost faith. And after all that happened with the injury and just kind of losing myself of not knowing who I was because I thought my identity was a baseball player,
Mm.
God showed me, no, you just need to know the right people and come back to me. And that's exactly what happened. After meeting those guys, like every single Sunday after games, we would have Bible study and reflection and worship. So we'd start with 10 minutes of worship, going through worship music and kind of singing along. And then we'd bring somebody in for a little Bible study afterwards because we practiced Sunday, we weren't able to get to church in the mornings. So we kind of did our own stuff throughout the week. We have guys coming in for Bible verses, going over Bible studies just quick at lunch before practices. So, joining the team, you could say all the accolades are great, but finding the Lord, man, that was the biggest thing for me. And the biggest thing that I will take away from joining that football team, man.
Man, that is fantastic. So I think When I think about the college experience, and even the portal, like one of the things that I think about, I've always been for player empowerment, and to
Mhm.
the degree that I felt like they shouldn't be, like run like cattle, if you will, uh, because well, it's like a whole nother story. But sports back in my day, anyway, you know what I'm saying? It was really supposed to be this team building thing. We know it's competitive, and we're all competitors if we play sports seriously. We're really competitors, but it seemed like once the money really started getting into it, then the players became more of a commodity more
Mhm.
so than people, depending on where you go, obviously.
Right.
And kind of like you said with the baseball coach, he kind of just tossed you out, didn't want to give you an opportunity to heal. I'm really surprised that the staff didn't. I'm really surprised that the staff didn't get you an MRI, or like after your arm pops the second time,
Hmm.
okay, maybe we need to get this looked at,
Yeah.
as opposed to just sending you out there. But so with that being said, uh the portal's cool, because it gives you an opportunity.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I think when you can get to a place where you can stay, where
Hmm.
you can make relationships, then those relationships will last forever. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Those connections will last forever. It's something to be able to say, hey, when I go back to Ohio State, they know me, I know them, I contributed there. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
a home thing.
Absolutely.
So tell me about when you started meeting these guys, the Travion Hendersons and whatnot. How did you guys get together to discuss your faith? And just I mean, everybody's away from, well, you're not away from home, but a lot of these guys are away from home for the first time in their lives. A lot of pressure for a Division I athlete.
Hmm.
A lot of pressure for someone at this kind of school.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? With you guys, especially with all the pressure that you have just to perform every day, let alone get your grades,
Hmm.
and stay competitive. It's a dog eat dog world.
Right. So actually during spring ball, we it was me, G. Scott, Travion Henderson, and Peyton Pierce,
Hmm.
freshman linebacker. This is past spring ball. We were all after practice just sitting in the hot tub. Um, and Travion Henderson brought up his sleep paralysis. And I go through sleep paralysis. And I thought I was the only one that went through it.
Could you
And
tell
we got,
people what sleep paralysis is for those who
yeah,
don't?
so sleep paralysis is basically when it's like a dream in a way, but it's when you kind of wake up and either your eyes are closed or your eyes are open. And if your eyes are open, you see stuff moving around you. You can hear people talk that aren't there. Things happen that aren't really happening, so it's kind of an illusion, but your body's paralyzed and you can't move, you can't react. And I've been struggling with this probably since my freshman year of college, and Travion's been struggling since he was a little kid. And that was the connection that we kind of made, um, just starting the conversation. And then he was like, you know what? When I was having a really bad sleep paralysis dream, I actually was able to speak. And when I spoke, I yelled, "Save me, Jesus." And once he said that, we started talking about our faith. And once we started talking about our faith, that's just how the conversation grew. And I mean, we were sitting in that hot tub for probably 2, 3 hours just talking faith and
Wow.
talking to the Lord and our relationships. And we we started brainstorming ideas, and then different things came about. Like G. Scott was able to baptize like 7 to 10 of our football players this year. And we had a huge community baptism out on campus where we baptized over 100 people. And we had a whole worship. And
Wow.
it was like JT, Emeka, Travion, G, Master Teague, and I'm probably forgetting one, but all those guys shared their testimonies to not just us as football players, but to all of campus and everyone that wanted to be there. And there was a group of probably 2,000 people, you know. And like I said before, we have two people, Tom and Jim, and they come in with Bible verses at lunch. And Trey and G introduced me to them. Um, we'll sit down at lunch, we'll go through some Bible verses that they bring in, we'll talk about them. So it's quick 10, 15 minutes, and we just get to talking about the Lord, and a lot of guys kind of follow suit afterwards after seeing those guys and how big of faith that they have. It, it's really cool.
I'm familiar with the sleep paralysis thing as a kid too.
Hmm.
Um, I remember when I was living in South Bend, Indiana, believe it or not. I lived there for 6 years. I think I told you that when we were
Yep.
umpiring at some point. But I remember laying there and, like you said, you can see, you can hear, but you can't move.
Right.
And it just really confused me. And I remember like screaming for my mom, I'm inside. I'm like, "Mom,"
Hmm.
you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
I
It's a
can't
scary
move.
feeling.
It's a scary thing. And it got to the point where I remember after a few times that it happened, one time I was conscious of it. So it happened. And I was like, okay, Chris, just sit there and roll it out. It'll be okay. Just relax. And I was like, okay. So I stopped fighting it. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
stopped fighting and just rested until it was time for me to get up. That's how I got through it. Wow. Yeah, that's I think I'm sure it's happened to me since I've been an adult. I don't know if it's happened in years, but it is I think now because it's happened to me so many times, I just kind of recognize and be like, just go back to sleep until you, until you get up. But as a kid, oh man, it's frightening. It
Oh
is
yeah.
even if it's never happened to you as an adult, it's frightening because you literally feel paralyzed. Like
Yeah.
you're like in this suspended state. Do you know do you know if there are any studies as to why that happens? I mean, I'm just spitballing now, but
There are studies out there, and they have no idea. They don't know the cause, they don't know the reason, like none of it. But let me tell you, you have it for the first time, and it is one of the scariest
it
feelings
is.
in the world because you're trying your hardest to fight out of it, and you're like, what is happening? Why can't I move? And then you just snap out of it, and now you're able to move, and you're just so confused and lost.
Yeah. Well, those relationships, man, like I said, man, they will last a lifetime. I
Hmm.
think that is one of the great things about the college experience. I did not finish college myself. I didn't, I'll say this. I didn't have the opportunity in that no one ever talked to me about college. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? But, so I went to the service when I got out of high school. But especially the older I get, and I got friends who went to college with guys, some of my best friends they're in their 50s like me,
Hmm.
and they're still super tight with their college buddies, even the ones that live out of town when they get together. So that's a beautiful thing, man. I think, like I said, man, when people get out of the house for the first time, they get away from family and they have to bond with other men and stuff like that. I just think that's a beautiful thing, man.
Absolutely.
I'm really happy for you on that point, man. I'm really happy for you. Those relationships will last forever, man. So so some stuff I was curious about. You played high school baseball, you played high school football.
Yep.
So you show up, you're a walk on at The Ohio State University.
Yep.
Did you have what was the oh my God moment when you say was there I'm sure there was an aha moment when you said, okay, wow, these guys that I play with now versus these guys, even some of the good guys that I played with high school. Did you have a moment like that was like, oh my goodness?
Yeah, so when I went to the first spring ball practice, I was allowed to attend all the spring ball practices. I wasn't allowed to participate, but I went just to watch and get a feel for how practices moved about and just how long they were and what they do and try and learn technique that I can do myself. Outside of that, it was the first spring ball practice that I was like, these guys are as tall as me and even bigger. And in high school, you don't have that. I was one of the tallest, biggest people on the field all the time, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'm probably one of the smallest compared to the O line and tight ends coming in because I was 15 pounds coming in, and all these guys are 240, 250, some 260, and then the linemen are 300 plus. And just standing next to those guys, you're like, whoa, you are a behemoth, and like it was just a cool thing to go see how they hit, how they operate, and like at that point I hadn't played football in 2 years. So in
Mm,
my mind, I'm like questioning myself of one, do I really want to do this? And two, am I going to be able to hang with these guys since I haven't played for 2 years? I'm behind. I'm
mhm,
behind a lot, you know?
mm,
And as soon as I got out there, man, I Coach Mick and his team were for summer weightlifting training when I got there. They put 20 pounds on me. So I was 235 pounds by the end of summer. I was faster. And the first practice that we had that we hit, like it just felt right. It felt
mm,
great.
mm.
And I was a little nervous at first, you know. I was like, I'm gonna get blown off the ball and whatnot. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. If I get blown off the ball, I get blown off the ball. But at least I'm gonna go. And you know, that first rep that I had that hitting someone, I was like, man, I actually did pretty good. Oh, but at that moment of spring ball was like, yeah, these guys are different.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this particular season, you guys were 14-2.
Yep,
You had the loss to Oregon and that team up north.
yep.
What is the difference between like the week of a loss in practice versus the week of a win?
Well, the week of a loss for the team up north game compared to the Oregon game was a little different because we had time in between our next game from that game.
Hmm.
I mean, so we had, I don't know, I think we had probably 2.5 weeks after that team up north game where we didn't play. We were just practicing and prepping for that next game.
Hmm.
And so after the Oregon game, you just like any other week, you come in on Sunday, you do your reflection, you do your worship, Bible study, and then we have a team meeting where we watch the good and the bad of film.
Hmm.
And we watch that as a team, and then we'll break out into position meetings and kind of go over specific films for individual, and then we'll go out and practice and we'll do correctives. So every Sunday um, is a way for us to learn about our mistakes and then grow as players and move on.
Hmm.
So we kind of took that day with Oregon, um, that Sunday. We kind of let it soak. We were a pissed off group. I know that we were
Yeah,
really,
that's what I want to talk about. Yeah. So
yeah,
like, like you said, what is practice like? What is the mentality like? What are the coaches like? Like
it
because every game in college is like it's not like even in the NFL there's only 17 games, but not only, but uh in college it's even less, and every game means so much. Every game in the regular season, especially in conference play, means so much.
hmm
I always wondered, like, imagine, okay, like, boy, what's practice gonna be like?
yeah, everything just gets ramped up a little bit. You know, everything is more critique. Everything is I wouldn't say more meaningful, but you're taking it a little bit more serious than what you did before.
Hmm.
And every single practice, every single rep was a meaningful rep. But how can we as players push each other to make that rep more meaningful? You know, because every single rep that we do, we call them meaningful reps. And, you know, if it's not a meaningful rep, we go back and we do it again to make it a meaningful rep. Because if you're going to do it, you might as well do it right.
Hmm.
You know, and as coaches, they always try to find ways to also push us to make it more meaningful, you know, and be more corrective on it and be more critique on it. So after a loss, you know, we uh we really just dive into what we needed to learn and what we did wrong rather than sit on the things that we did really well.
Hmm.
And then we'll soak on that for about a day. And then after that, we move on to the next week because that's all you can do. You learn from the past and then you move on to the next week and you just got to attack the things that you didn't do as well that week before,
Yeah.
you
When
know?
I saw the that particular game, the last game of the season,
Mhm.
I'm just a fan, you know what I mean? I'm just a fan. I'm not in the locker room with you guys. My thought was Coach Kelly was really super conservative. I thought that the offensive plan was like kind of play not to lose as opposed to play to win.
Mhm.
Um, and I thought after that, you guys just put the pedal to the metal.
Mhm.
I wonder, and I wonder if you thought about this. My personal feeling is without that loss, I don't know that the Buckeyes really charged through after that because I think I think after that loss, that last one, you guys were determined you were going to lose on your strengths. If somebody's going to beat you, you're going to get beat on your strengths. You're not going to get beat trying not to lose. I just thought that that loss propelled you guys to say this is enough.
Yeah.
I thought that was the difference. I don't know what would have happened if you won that game,
Mhm.
but I really believe that losing that game set the tone.
Well, there was a lot that went into after the game and after the fact. Um, we came together as a group, as a team, and after our team meeting after that game, Coach Day uh set out all the coaches to get out of the room. Everybody, all the personnel, everybody in that room was just players and Coach Day. And we had a grown ass man talk, and it was Coach Day said, "Come after me if you want, question me. Let's just get everything out on the table. Say what you have to say, be a man about it, take it, own it. And then after this meeting, we are going to come together in the locker room. We're going to come together as brothers. I'm going to trust you like I hope you trust me. And let's go win this thing." Because we have three goals in mind at the start of every season: beat the team up north, win a Big Ten, win a national championship. And in our minds, Big Ten championship was off the table. We just lost the team up north, but there's still one more goal, the biggest goal, to go win a natty still on the table.
Hmm.
So we could have either folded or we could come together and power to the unit and just run through it and go on the greatest run Ohio State football has ever seen. And that's what we did.
That's exactly what you did.
Oh.
Was there anything that I don't want you to divulge any super personal stuff, but was there anything in that meeting that was said that you can share that say, hey, that this is the kind of thing that we learned? Because there are people, there are other coaches or players who may watch this
Mm-hmm.
and learn something from what you guys talked about, in your own sanctuary.
I'm not allowed to say any specifics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I will say, as 18 to 23-year olds, there was a lot of maturity and there was a lot of young men in there that were very mature in the way that they were speaking, and everything that was said was, one, meaningful, and two, it was true. And when you have conversations like that, it can turn into an argument, but you have to look from both sides of it. you know you have to look at what is being said and why it's being said, and that's exactly what we did. But the specifics behind everything, I'm we said it's staying in the room, and that's what I'm going to keep it.
That's
Keep it.
what's up. Yeah, that's
Yep.
what's up. That's what's up. All right, so let's talk about one of my favorite players at Ohio State. Uh, this guy just always he gets me going every time I see him, and that's brother Jack Sawyer.
Hmm. Oh, dude,
What
I
can you tell America about Jack Sawyer that they don't know from just watching him on the field?
um let's see.
What's that? That you're thinking about right now? That what you're think? Well, that's what I want to know. What you're thinking
I
about right now?
I As soon as you said Jack, I just thought back to the time we first met,
Hmm.
and that was third, fourth grade, playing
What?
basketball.
Yeah, because he's from here. He's from Picker. Yeah, went to
Yeah, he's
Pickerington.
from Pickerington. He played on the
Yeah.
Pickerington Pumas. And we were playing at Capital University. Never seen this kid before. Never, I didn't even know his name, none of that. But we were two of the biggest kids on the floor. We played each other so many times growing up. But
I mean, basketball and football and baseball, everything.
basketball, we played each other in football, I think once or twice growing up.
Okay.
But basketball mainly, we played each other.
Hmm.
Played him once in baseball,
Hmm.
which was really fun. I'll get in that story here in a little bit. But
Okay.
first time I met Jack, we were at Capital University, and we were both so competitive. I played my best basketball against him. I'm pretty sure he probably played his best basketball against me. Highly competitive, but it almost got too competitive because every single time there was almost a fist fight that would break out on the floor. It didn't matter. We would frustrate each other out so much, man. he was awesome. Like looking back at it, it was so awesome playing a kid like that,
Mm.
because you're pushing to be the best and to play against a kid that was just as big, just as physical, wanted it just as bad, it was really fun. And, seventh grade basketball comes around. We're playing each other in the semifinals. And I fouled him. He got an and one. He turned around and goes, and one, bitch. And he gets a technical. So I turn around and I might have said a little choice words or not. I got a technical.
Oh
Both,
wow.
both our dads get thrown out of the gym.
What?
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my God.
And both teams get sent to the locker room. And after that game, we kind of reached out and we were like, dude, I respect the shit out of you. Like you're a great player, highly competitive. And we actually played on the same baseball team that next year in eighth grade for a little bit until the varsity football team got a hold of him to start working out.
You told him,
But
okay, no more that hitting balls and strikes. Come
no, no, no.
on over here.
He was a solid baseball player, but I'll never let him live this down. I struck his ass out 4 times in a row in the same game. I pitched my best game that game. Even though we were in like sixth, seventh grade, I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
It
don't care.
counts. That counts.
Dude, you're 0
That
4
counts.
against me, bro. You
That
went 0
counts.
4 against me. Oh yeah.
That counts.
Now Jack is a great dude. Uh, I'm glad that I'm able to call him one of my best friends. He actually lived right around the corner from me. So after games, after practices, I'd go over there, we watch a movie or we'd turn on games, Monday night football, Thursday night football, whatever it was. And we just hang out as boys and just talk. We talk about everything. And Jack is one of those dudes where, you know, he is, like I said, highly competitive, but when you're in a one-on-one setting, he's just very down to earth guy. And he's very humble about himself. He doesn't really like to talk about sports um, when he's around me. I mean, we did sometimes just because we were in season, but
Yeah.
most of our conversation was just about life, how our girlfriends are,
Hmm.
how our family is, what country music are we listening to, you
He's a
know.
country music fan too, huh?
Oh,
Okay.
he loves country music, man.
Okay. Okay.
He loves it. He loves some Waylon Jennings, man.
Okay. Old school.
Old school.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
he's big in the country, man.
See,
And
I knew there's a reason why I like that guy.
yeah,
Just
he's a very likable guy, man. He really is.
when I watch him, it kind of reminds me of like TJ Watt.
Hmm.
Whereas I would say like during the game, like even if you guys were, wasn't getting the stops you need, you know what I mean? I'd always say, well, you know what? That Jack Sawyer is going to strike at some point in this game, man. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be third or fourth quarter, and at some point he's going to get you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like he always did. You
Yeah,
know,
he did.
at the most important time.
Yes, he did. Yeah, man. The biggest thing that I think he improved on was his vocal leadership, being
Hmm.
a vocal leader. This past year, he was one of our best vocal leaders in the locker room, on the field, in the weight room, didn't matter where it was. He was just a great leader, holding guys accountable. You know, not it doesn't matter that you guys are friends, you know, because in the moment, like as a team and as a leader and as a captain of the team of the Ohio State Buckeyes, you can be friends, but there's a time and place where you got to hold people accountable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if they hate you in the moment because they're going to be better for it.
Yeah.
And that's what we preached was tough love. Just because someone's getting up your ass about something and yelling at you and chirping at you does not mean that they hate you. It
Yeah.
means that they care about you enough to yell at you and push you to be the best person and best player that you can possibly be.
Yeah.
And that was Jack.
Yeah. When I played sports at the, obviously the lowest level,
Mhm.
um, I never like people that yelled at me never bothered me as long as I knew you cared about me.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That was me. That was my style. I didn't like to be yelled at, but if
Mhm.
I thought you cared about me, then I wanted to impress my teammate. I wanted to impress my coach. I wanted to be, I wanted them to look at me and say, this guy cares. He might not even be the best or the second best, but he really cares and he's committed and he's down with me. You know what I'm saying? We down for the same cause. So I never minded being pushed. I know what you mean. I think the one thing about when you're in that kind of environment, especially at the highest level, you guys are so skilled
Mm-hmm.
and so good anyway that I saw this interview the other day with Pat Riley, the Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about this is what he said about his career and why he coached so hard and why his teams were always in shape. He said that when he got drafted to play with the Lakers, he said the coach told him in the first training camp, he says, "Hey, you're a decent player, but you're not going to be a star or anything like that. The way you make this team is to be in the best shape you can possibly be in. Because in practice, I need you to guard Jerry West. I need you to guard Gail Goodrich.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I might need you to get on Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I mean? So if you're in shape and you can do all that every day, then you'll make this team."
Mm-hmm.
And so that's his philosophy going forward, even in the coaching, was to say that, hey, I'm going to make sure that my guys are the best condition that they can be, but they can never be that on their own. They'll
Right.
never be able to discipline themselves to be on. They need somebody to push them
Mm-hmm.
and to tell them, no, you can go further, you can go further, you can go further. That way, in those crunch time moments in the fourth quarter, you're not tired. You know what I mean? You're used to this. Or as Jordan used to say, they used to say about the Bulls that the games was easy because practice was hard.
Exactly right.
So
Exactly right.
I feel you on that, and I think that's the difference between an elite program, I believe, is you guys holding each other accountable. I think because the coaches can't tell you all the time. The coaches, you know what I mean? But if my teammate is on my ass, that's different.
Yeah. When it's player led and
Yeah,
yeah, with everything that you just said, like player led, if a player is getting on another player, like that's the best thing that you could have because it
yeah.
shows the player cares
The
and it's
leadership,
about you. You
leadership.
know?
So
Mm-hmm.
you were gonna say something about baseball and Jack Sawyer before we. I didn't want you to
And
forget.
I struck him out 4 times.
Oh, no, you struck about for there. It
Yeah.
is. There it is. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So before we wrap up, I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna go four downs with you. We in the red zone.
All right.
All right, first and goal. These are a series of questions here. You tell me what you think. Which one of your teammates is the one that you don't want to mess with?
First and goal.
Yeah, yeah. First and goal. No, no. Uh that's just a paraphrase for the question. So don't
Mm,
don't just in other words, it's four questions.
okay.
So don't take it literal for the first and goal. This is the first down. First down.
Mhm.
Which one of your teammates, hey man, you do not want to mess with that guy?
I don't know. I got good relationships with all of them, man.
No, no, no. I mean like, I don't mean like how sometimes guys play practical jokes and stuff like that on each other.
Uh-huh.
And there's some guys you don't want to smoke with that guy. Leave that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
Did you have
That's
any of those on your team?
yeah, we got a couple, but they're not on offense. Uh yeah. I guess it just depends on what you do, but you're probably not going to want to pull any prank on IGB.
Okay. Who's IGB?
IGB, Igmanosin,
Okay, okay.
or him or Denzel Burke. You're probably not going to want to do that, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Which one of your teammates has the most jokes?
Has the most jokes.
Yeah, who's
Oh,
the funniest?
I'd say Trey. Travion Henderson was probably one of the funniest people I met. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. He was hilarious. Oh gosh. He would always make everyone smile and everyone laugh. It didn't matter where we were. He was like before when we were doing dynamic warm-ups and stuff, he would just be yelling out at Coach Mick, develop me, develop me. And to me, that was just hilarious. Because what else is Coach Mick there for?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You know what I mean? He's gonna develop you, but Trey's just develop me.
yeah.
The way that he's yelling, it was just so funny. And at practice, he'll chirp at the defense and hide behind the linemen so that they don't know where he's at. And defense gets so upset with him. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. Either him and then in the locker room, probably Devin Brown or Will Howard. Those two
Okay.
in the locker room are funny ass dudes, man.
Okay.
Some
All
of the
right.
jokes I probably can't repeat, but
No, no, no. You don't have to repeat it. I just want to know who was the funniest. That's fine.
yeah,
You don't have to repeat them. It's cool. If you got something you can say, it's cool. We good with that too. All right. So
no, no. Yeah, I keep that locker room talk.
no worries. Okay. Cool. 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 Third down. I've heard stories, many, many, many stories about strength coaches.
Hmm.
They're normally kind of insane. Yours, you said, put 20 pounds on you.
Yep.
Tell me about your strength coach.
Coach Mick is
Nuts.
Coach Mick's the GOAT.
Okay, let's talk about
He's the
that.
GOAT. He I don't know his secrets. Yeah, I know he learned from the best strength coach there is in college football, but there's just something about Coach Mick where he knows how to push guys beyond what they want to be pushed, and then even further. And and all of his staff, Coach AT, Coach KP, Coach Rose, Coach Higgins, those guys collectively are many, or I wouldn't even say many, but they're Coach Mix in their own way. And
Mhm,
every single one of them have your best interest at heart, but they know how to push you beyond what you want to be pushed, you
mm,
know. And with that, it's not even just strength training, with nutrition, we have Kayla Olson, our nutritionist,
mhm,
and she makes sure that you're right getting nutrition wise. So calorie intake, breakfast, lunch, dinner, what you need to eat if you're trying to gain weight. And we would always work with Coach making strength training and speed, and then with Kayla with the eating part of it, because you got to be able to intake more calories than you're outtaking in the workout.
mhm.
So it was kind of like a teamwork between the both of putting on 20 pounds in a summer.
That had to be insane.
It was the worst summer of my life. 100%.
How many times did you have to work out every day?
Uh, it was one workout every day, but workouts in summer and in the off season, they're brutal. So not only are you just lifting, but you're doing sled work and conditioning and agility drills, and you're trying to get yourself prepared for fall camp.
Mm,
So lifts, what I would say probably around 2.5 hours, 3 hours
mm,
with everything. And we go hard, right like you're in the lift and you're like, all right, we're probably about done. We've done a lot. No, you're only halfway through it. And then you got to find a way to get through it, and it's an everyday thing, Monday through Friday.
wow.
I'm better for it though,
Yeah. Yeah,
100%.
'cause, I mean, you take all of this stuff in life, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So you talked about your faith, uh,
Hmm.
in this fourth down question. What did you learn by being on this team at this school that you didn't expect to learn? What caught you by surprise?
How real the brotherhood is in the locker room.
Mm,
Like you hear it a lot with the brotherhood in Ohio State football, the brotherhood, the brotherhood, the brotherhood. And I always just thought that's just one of those cliche things that teams and programs do to bring people in for recruiting.
mhm,
No, it is a real ass thing when it comes to Ohio State Buckeyes. It doesn't matter your offense, defense, special teams, everybody knows everybody. And like, I've never been a part of a team where we were just so close knitted. Like after practice, we'd be hanging out in the locker room doing extra work, or we would go and hang out on the weekends. Like it was never just two, three guys. It was always a group and collective group of guys. And then that group would grow and be more. And it honestly felt like I knew the guys for years and years and years instead of just 2 years that I've actually known them. And that was probably the biggest thing that I learned was the brotherhood is real at Ohio State.
how often do the guys who left, whether they play in the pros or not, how
Mhm.
often are they back there with you guys?
They come when they can. So Stover was in the other week. Joe Burrow still comes back every once in a while for the training room,
Mhm,
and we'll always see uh, football like NFL guys coming back and working with their position group coach, or coming in the weight room to get a lift, or coming to our PT stew and doing rehab. Like you see them all the time, and for those guys in season, it's kind of harder to get into the Woody because they're out with their NFL teams, right? But in the off season is where you'll see them more, you
Mhm.
know. So
How what are you going to take with you as you go on, as you go on in your life? You graduated now, three and a
mm,
half years. Congratulations on
thank
that.
you.
Um, what are you going to take? What is your college experience going to give you as you go forward in your life? What lessons have you learned that you can take with you for the rest of your career, whatever you decide to
Yep.
do?
The one of the biggest things that I think I've learned um from my college experience was forget about tomorrow. That shit's too far away.
Mhm.
Forget about yesterday. Shit's too far gone. The only thing that we can control, the only thing that we have control over is what we do in this moment right now.
Mm,
And leading up to getting a real job. And I'm hopefully getting a job in sales over at a company called Fastenal. And when you do sales, sometimes you have bad days, sometimes you have really good days. It
mm,
doesn't matter what kind of day you have, even just in life mentally. It doesn't matter what kind of day, week you're having. The only thing you have control over is what you're doing right now, right here. Doesn't matter what's already happened, doesn't matter what's already to come. That's what overthinking is.
yeah.
And I used to have a big problem with overthinking and anxiety. And this message that I learned, it helped me just clear cut, focus on what I needed to focus on, the most important thing, which is right now.
Well, you just helped me with that because I have a PhD in overthinking
Mhm.
and making things more complicated.
Yep.
So no wonder we get along so
Yeah,
well.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Jace normally, but when I do a podcast, sometimes it takes a while for me to get through them because in my mind everything has to be perfect. And I did a basketball game before I came here and did it. So 9 times out of 10, I would have been like, "Oh man, let's try it next week," because I want to be in the perfect mental space to make sure the interview is really good. And I'm really prepared. And I was like, man, I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. Yeah, we boys. Let's just do it. I said I was gonna make that change in 2025. So just do it. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
tomorrow ain't problems. Just do it. So I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're just going to touchdown now in them first four questions. So now here's the extra point.
All right.
Who partied the hardest after the national championship game?
After the national championship game, ooh, there's two guys that come to mind.
Okay.
And one of them, he went to Waterson. His name's Ryan Rudzinski.
Okay.
I think that kid got 3 hours of sleep in 7 days because they went on a week-long bender. And then I'd say the other guy, his name's Nolan Baudo.
Okay.
He's a walk-on receiver.
Wow.
I promise you, those guys I think only got 3 to 4 hours of sleep in 7 days because they were just partying. It was great. It was fantastic to see.
Did you guys have like a party? Like
Oh
as
yeah. Oh yeah. We
who's
at the hotel we had a little something at night
mm,
after the game. Couple I won't mention who, but a couple of guys missed the flight home because they
wow.
couldn't get up in the morning.
Wow.
Just because it was a long night,
Yeah, I'm
coach
sure it
doing
was.
whatever they were doing, and then the players were doing whatever they were doing, and I was enjoying time with my family and my girlfriend. So everyone kind of did their own thing, but as a group, we had to be up at like 9 o'clock to catch a flight at 10:30. So it was an early morning, but when we got back, we had a little something over at town hall.
Mm.
Um, it was it was just a little get together with all the team, and there was probably half the team there. And so we did town hall. The next day, I went to go visit my grandparents, but a bunch of the guys went to Midway. And then there was just so many different days of what we did. It was cool, you know. It was just really cool.
Who's the best and worst dancer on the team?
Bennett Christian's the worst dancer I've ever seen in my life. Worst dancer I've ever seen
That
in my life.
was quick. It didn't take you long to come up
No,
with
that's
that.
easy. That's an easy answer right there.
Okay.
Best dancer, Pat Gerd,
Who?
Patrick, the fullback.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Oh, back. All right.
dude got some
Overweight
moves.
lover in the house. Okay.
Dude's got some moves.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Cool, man. All right, man. Okay. So the last question for the night, man, is who's in your who I was gonna say who's in your iPod. People don't listen to iPods anymore. What country music are you listening to now, man? What's on the list?
Outlaw country.
Huh?
Outlaw country.
Outlaw country. Is that a group?
It's no, it's kind of like a genre. So it's
Oh,
like
it's a genre.
it's your Hank Juniors, your Hank William Juniors,
Okay,
it's your
okay,
Waylon Jennings, it's your Kenny
okay.
Rogers, it's David Allen
You know
Coles.
about Kenny Rogers, man. What you know about the gambler?
Oh man,
You
stop
know
it.
about the gambler.
Stop it. Stop it.
What you know about the coward of the county?
Oh, stop it.
Hey, that was my time, man. I was a
So,
kid when the coward of the county came
look,
out.
I'm loving the George Jones, the Merle Haggards, I'm loving all of it. The Hank Seniors. I've been really getting into the old country. And I'm not really a fan of like this newer country. There's a couple songs out there that I do enjoy listening to, like Luke Combs, that Oklahoma one.
Mhm.
Um, I don't even know what the song is. I just know it's got Oklahoma in it. But
Mhm.
that's a song that I like. I like Colder Wall because it's more of that blues western country,
Mhm.
which I really enjoy. But there's not much of the newer country that I really like. It's that blues and bluegrass. It's that banjo and fiddle and harmonica and just the outlaw country and aspect of it. I just love the older country generation.
All right, man. You got an old soul, man. Like I said, there's a reason why we hit it off from day
Yeah,
one.
absolutely.
And I'm so glad you came on, man. I can't even tell you how happy I am for you, man, just to see you develop. When I first met you, I knew you was a solid cat. And, I'm just a fan of good people.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm really a fan of good people. And I love young people.
Hmm.
And so when I see a person go from A to B, B to C, and I'm so proud of you, man.
I
Just
appreciate you,
as a
man.
man,
I
as a
appreciate
man, I'm so proud of you, man. And I used to say, remember I used to tell you, I was like, all right, man, when you pitching for the Dodgers, man, don't forget about your boy. You
it.
know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But now, man, now I got to say, okay, when you're selling all that product, now, man, hey, man, let's just make sure we break bread together, man. Let's get together soon, man, and chop it up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Please give my love to your grandparents.
I will absolutely. I'll see you
Hopefully they
tomorrow, man.
remember me.
Yeah, they will.
They
They
remember me.
absolutely will. Yeah.
Okay, they are the coolest people in the world, man. You
I,
know,
I actually I'll see him tomorrow, so I'll let him
you
know that you
will.
said hello. Yep.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, please give them my love, man. And
Will.
you are the result to me, man. You're the result. You have a great family, and you have, when you have a great family and a great support system, man, it really gives you an advantage in that you can walk through trials and tribulations. You can be challenged. And
Yep.
like you said, you could even lose faith.
Hmm.
But having that support system to know that people have your back, that's the greatest thing in the world.
100%.
And again, man, when I met you, I knew you had good people around you, man. I knew you had good elders and parents and aunties, uncles, grandparents, whatever. I knew that, man. I knew you was a quality dude. And I know I'm repeating myself, man, but I just can't tell you how proud I am of you and how happy I am for you, man.
I
I
appreciate
just
that.
want you to succeed and be great in everything you do. And like you said, man, one day at a time, man, you can
Yep.
control the moment.
Yep.
So thank
Exactly.
you, man, for being with me, man. I appreciate you. I got a national champion on my podcast. Yo,
Yeah.
that's dope, man. You go get a ring? You get a ring?
We get three.
You get 3 rings?
Yeah.
Okay, break that down. How does that work? 3 rings.
University, national championship, and then I believe the Cotton Bowl Rose Bowl will be combined. Yeah.
All right,
So
call me when you get that ring because I'm gonna need to see it in
I
person.
will. I will 100%. It might not be for a couple months,
No,
but
that's cool. They gotta
yeah,
get it
yeah.
right. They gotta get them
Yeah.
diamonds together. They
Oh,
gotta
they
get
got to get
them
everything.
diamonds together.
Yep. Yep.
All right, Jace, man. Thank you, man. Thanks for being with me, man. Best of
Thanks for
success,
having me, man.
man. And we will talk soon, brother.
All right. God bless, guys.
Love you, man. Thank you, man. Hey, y'all stay safe out here. Thanks for Jace Middleton joining us. And we'll see you next time on the For Real Though show.